Well, we've actually made it. Hey! Thank you, Ian, for your kind words. And thank you, everyone else, for coming today. I appreciate everyone making the effort coming here. I know the majority of us are either from Manchester, Scotland, and one special guest from Poland over there, with a few people from down south. I know we've all had a rough 18 months, so hopefully today brings a bit of joy and a bit of normality back into our lives. Before I do go any further, I would just like to raise a glass for family members that can't be with us today. Hopefully looking down on us and proud of us. Cheers. I'd like to start with the bridesmaids. I would thank the bridesmaids for keeping Sam calm today, but no team of family and friends I don't think could do that. But thank you for trying. You all look beautiful, and we appreciate all the love and support you've provided to us today and during the build-up to the wedding. And now to the groomsmen, thank you. I know we're a socially awkward bunch, so I hope your duties today haven't been too painful. You've got 2 jobs today, look good and don't get too messy. Don't let me down twice today. Now on to my proper thank yous. I'd like to start with Melissa, Sam's sister. The first 8 years with the sister-in-law were a lot smoother than the first 8 years with the sister. Thank you for being my personal masseuse, my enemy at Christmas party games, for buying PlayStation games before me so I never have to actually pay for them, and above all, just being an amazing sister. Your graphic designer brain created the save the dates, and your memory books made my family cry. You've always made time for me and always gone out of your way to help, and I'm truly grateful for that. Now on to Sam's mum and dad. Thank you, Ian, for teaching me how to change the lights, fix the dishwasher and change the toilet. You taught me a lot of life skills. Not enough to prevent me ever needing you when something goes wrong, but still. Ian and Michelle have saved us many a time when something's gone wrong. We broke down in the Peak District once, and I think this is where Ian realised, damn, he's an idiot. I thought my car was undrivable. Ian and Michelle drove an hour to get here to us. And he ended up driving my car home perfectly fine while I sat in the passenger seat with my tail between my legs thinking, damn, I'm an idiot. I hope one day when my mates call me DIY Rye, it isn't in the sarcastic sense. And Michelle, thank you for making me feel one of your own since day one. Not once have I ever dreaded going round to the in-laws. If anything, I asked Sam when we're next seeing you. You feed me better than you feed Sam, and no matter if everyone's having apple pie, you make sure I've got my beloved brownie. Thank you for sitting me down that one night in your garden and grilling me on why I haven't married Sam yet. It's not that I didn't want to, it was the fear of how much it was all going to cost. And I just want to pre-warn people about Michelle. If you hear her talking with a Scottish accent or a Manc accent, you're not actually going crazy. It's just how Scottish people have had to adapt so we understand them. Thank you both for welcoming me into the family with open arms. You created a beautiful daughter, and I'm truly grateful that you've allowed me to marry her. Now on to my sister. Thank you for no matter how much of a devil I was to my mum, you were always there to top it. I'd forget to tidy my room, you'd trash the house with a party. I'd come home drunk, you just wouldn't come home. I started to smoke, you started to smoke weed. Well, you get the idea. My first experience being drunk was because of Emma. We were on holiday in Spain. I think I was about 12 at the time. And weirdly, my mum and dad were less McAllisters, more McCanns that night as they left me and Emma at the bar. A few hours later, I was naked in the bathroom asking my mum if I was going to die. Thank you for being a great sister-in-law. As with mum and dad, our relationships got better as we've got older, and I nearly enjoy spending time with you. That was nearly, not really. Now on to my mum and dad. Everyone that knows me knows how well I've got on with my parents. I can't remember a single argument I've ever had with my mum or dad. Shout out to Josh for letting me sleep on your couch for a week when me and my mum were particularly getting on so well. And thank you, Mum, for never actually following through on the promise of putting me in a children's home. In all seriousness though, I owe a lot to my mum and dad. Firstly financially, as my mates like to remind me. He's been silver spoon. Is a regular chant that they sing. One reason I wanted to get married in the Lakes was because of all the memories I was lucky enough to have here as a kid. It felt like a holiday every time we came up. I don't think you realise how lucky that made me feel. The constant sulking, tantrums and arguments may have led you to think otherwise, but my best memories were here with you two and the rest of our family. Special mention to my dad too. He's taught me no matter what life throws at you, whether it be my mum throwing shoes, chairs or wedding rings, you can always work through it. I'd like to thank him for his lessons in finance too. I'm known as the tight one in my circle of mates, but it's thanks to this man why I can claim this prize. My dad had a spreadsheet that would track everything from water usage to weekly sweet spend. Not a week went by where I wasn't reminded how the length of my showers were financially crippling the family. Although it's hard to blame him given how my mum spends money. It's taken too long for me to realise how special my mum and dad are, but I realise it now. I love you both so much, thank you for everything. Now on to Sam. Can we please raise a glass for my beautiful wife? She'll hate that. It's funny we're even given here, given the first words after I proposed were, don't think we're getting married anytime soon. If that didn't kill the moment, finding out Magic Kingdom when we got engaged didn't serve alcohol certainly did. People usually say, was it love at first sight, but it was different for me and Sam. We were workmates, where we'd spend breaks and dinners reading messages she'd get from dating sites. We'd go out drinking with workmates and go to raves, but one day I asked Sam if she wanted to come round and watch a film. Smartly, she said no. But thankfully, George ignored her own better senses and told her to come round. From then on, things were different. I went from wanting you to read your dating messages to wanting to be your dating messages. And as long as I was with you, life was good. And then you became my manager at work and life was bad. Didn't take me long to realise being shouted at work wasn't as fun as being shouted at home. You sacrificed a lot to be with me. You moved away from your parents. And you gave it the chance to be with someone that doesn't get mad at the smallest of inconveniences. You truly put everyone before yourself. I didn't just fall in love with your qualities, your selflessness and your thoughtfulness, but I fell in love with the qualities that you brought out in me. I get on better with my parents because you made me realise how awful I was, so thank you. If it wasn't for your organisation, none of us would be here today, and I'll be as surprised as everyone else for anything else that happens today. It took us 8 years to get here, and I'm just excited for the next 80. I just hope one day you learn to switch off the lights and realise things left on standby still use electricity. I just want to end on 2 points. The first of which is about the groomsmen and the rest of the lads here. We're a close bunch of lads and any one of them is fitting for these roles. Thank you for always being there. I couldn't ask for a better set of mates. And secondly, I just want to dispel a rumour. As I touched on, both my mates at work and my mates at home both call me tight with money. Weird convenience. So to change the idea of me, I put some money behind the bar. There should be enough there for the first person to get a pint. Thank you again for all being here. I'd like to now pass over to my best man, Arnie.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, in the 9 years that I've been doing this job, that's one of the best groom speeches I've ever heard. Brilliant! That might get him to buy me a drink afterwards, you never know. Thank you, Ryan.